Hello and welcome to the A&P. I am Alex Johansson and my co-host Patrick McCallum. Patrick,
Hello, everyone. How are you getting on?
we're having logical discussions about the state of the world. Let's get into it, brother. Heyo, Patrick, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad at all, but how are things with yourself?
Things are going great. Just trying to get my free speech advocate friend from Australia all sorted out. It's been
No bother at all.
been
So
one
this is the video from Nerdrotic about the
right.
Graham Linehan arrest over in the UK under free speech laws.
Isn't Mr. Linehan an Irish citizen?
Yes, they
He's
discovered it after they detained him.
Oh, that might be a bit of egg on the face there. So
Yeah.
today we're going to have our producer Doubting Thomas in studio, and he'll be tracking down facts, figures, information, graphs like he does. And we'll be posting those things in the notes at the end of the show so you guys can go over the information. Should be good stuff for you. You out there, Doubting Thomas?
Yeah, gentlemen, I'm excited to see what Patrick has brought us today.
All right. We're going to go ahead.
No pressure at all. No pressure.
No. We're going to go ahead and let Nerdrotic start cooking. Here we go.
The truth. Now, as most of you have already heard, writer-comedian Graham Linehan, the co-creator of Father Ted and the IT Crowd, two pretty big shows in the UK, was arrested at Heathrow Airport last week by 5 armed officers over tweets. I'll repeat that. A comedian was arrested in the UK by 5 armed police officers over posts on X Twitter. And what should be more disturbing is this authoritarian shit has been going on in the UK for a long time. Who could forget everyone's pal Count Dankula, who got...
Ooh, we covered that guy last week. No, just a couple days ago, actually, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he was on. Yeah, he was on fire. He's like, we're all fed up. You certainly are.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. As I have always said to you, these laws are absolutely ridiculous laws. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, it reminds me when Jordan Peterson was in Ottawa talking to the Canadian federal government about Bill C-16, and all that was just wild. And I really do want to go over that because of the time it's had to develop. It has not gone well for Canada at all. Those laws are just really, really doing horrible things to free speech in Canada. All right, here we go.
And his trouble with the law, as you all know, for his doggo throwing up a socialist of the national kind salute, which was hilarious. Now, side note and a sad note, Count Dankula's dog Buddha went to heaven this past August 29th. Rest in peace, you're a good doggo. It's also sad to say that what happened to Graham Linehan and many others won't be the last time something like this happens, but the good news is it actually did cause some overdue outrage, even from America.
Comedian Graham Linehan was arrested at Heathrow Airport in the UK over past social media posts he made.
That seems very strange.
It is very strange. He made them over a year ago. He made these tweets. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right, but the Twitter X space has become the public square for where you do these kinds of things. If you're in politics, you have to have a Twitter X account. You have to have a bunch of social media functions and spaces, because if you don't have them, then your voice will not be heard as well as your opponent's voice in any political race, right? And that's just not in the United States. It's all over the G20, right?
Yeah, pretty much all over the world, really, if you think about it now. Have to have some social media presence on every platform in order to get ahead.
Well, for sure. And if you don't have that presence, mailers aren't going to do it. Circulars in the post isn't going to do it. It's just not going to do it, you know? So.
Yeah, but it's kind of ridiculous that you're arrested over some more digital words. The funny thing is, he wrote these tweets while he was touring in the United States, so he was doing outside the jurisdiction of the UK.
Right, but the UK says that because it hits anywhere in UK space, it is then up to them to regulate, and that they are, in quotes, allowed to do that to keep the people safe from offense. And I don't know about you, but you can't have an adult conversation if subjects are taboo. It doesn't work like that, right?
No.
So, in the United States, we have the First Amendment, free speech, practice of religion, those kinds of things. The Ireland's got freedom of expression, and the UK is supposed to have something akin to that, correct?
We have freedom of expression, not freedom of speech.
Right.
In the UK and in Ireland. So we don't have freedom of speech. Well, our freedom of speech is kind of there. These new laws are coming in, especially in the UK. They're already in the UK.
Well, they're
They're
super
super
draconian.
well, yeah.
Oh
The
my
problem
God.
is they're very poorly written laws, so they can cover a broad sense of subjects. There's no kind of definition.
Right.
Anything that
Again.
offends another person
Right. Again,
is
just
a
like
very broad term.
right. And again, just like Bill C-16. Hey, Thomas, do me a favor. Make sure we post something about Bill 16 out of Canada. That's
Oh,
super
he has it
important.
here. Oh, he's on the ball.
He's on the ball.
Yeah, I'm ahead of you on that one.
All right. All right. In the next break, we'll have Patrick speak to what that's about. Unless Thomas wants to go ahead and put that in. Let's let him cook a little bit here.
On transgender issues.
I think this is going to be a case that's going to be a big boiling issue for the UK.
We had the disgraceful scenes of a comedy writer, incredible comedy writer, Graham Linehan, being arrested. I mean, for things he said, posted online.
So we've had multiple situations where free speech and the establishment has been cracking down on ordinary citizens. And this is probably the worst and the most climatic incident that's happened. And I hope it's going to be a line in the sand to actually say enough is enough.
Except for
Didn't Keir Starmer say in Trump and Vance's face that the UK has free speech and they're super, super proud of their free speech and all that? I seem to recall that. Right. I believe the term I'm looking for here is bollocks. I think that's what we're looking at. That might be the term over there.
But these laws, by the way, these laws have been brought in since last year. Since early last year, these laws were brought in.
Well, didn't Scottish Parliament do some wild stuff with this a couple of years back too? And then everybody else is trying to follow suit?
They enacted the same set of laws. Because Scotland and Wales still have their own independent home rule parliaments.
Mm-hmm.
In Northern Ireland.
Oh, the one that doesn't meet, the one in Northern Ireland, that one.
Oh yeah, they're still trying to figure out their timetable for the lovely. Yeah, it's not that about the Northern Ireland one.
Good luck,
yeah,
kids.
they're still trying to figure out their stuff up there.
Well, they should just hand them all boxing gloves and have them do some work in the ring. You know, get it figured out. So, all right, here we go.
They did that for about 50 odd years. So,
well, our Senate and House of Representatives before 1900 would have duels, and there's a pretty there's an amazing picture of a senator who's getting caned in the House.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. So, all right, here we go.
Yeah, they should bring that back. Actually.
Dueling? You have no idea.
Well, judging by the state of some of them over there, no, probably not. Actually, don't.
Well, Doubting Thomas said he thought that duels might, thin the herd out a little bit. Maybe,
It'll definitely tend to hurt on both sides of the aisle out there, right?
of the United States, the people who actually write and perform comedy in Hollywood. Wasn't it just over a month ago when Tinseltown had their Knickers for Men in a twist over the firing of Stephen Colbert? The media, and more importantly, his competing hosts, took his side, saying it was an abuse of power from President Trump, when in truth, the show cost $100 million a year to produce and lost $40 million last year. And this probably had a lot to do with the show being criminally unfunny. Not that many people were watching it. The Pfizer money dried up, and don't you dare bring up that USAID money. Anyway, let's get back to Graham Linehan's arrest over.
That is hilarious. When you lose $40 million and it's time to go. Right? If you post a loss like that, you should expect to get let go. And to blame it on the president seems very strange.
Oh no, there's a lot more to that story. Right? We'll definitely go into that one of these days.
It's got a little nuance. A little nuance.
Yeah, Paramount and the rest of them wanted to make a deal. And behind closed doors, I think part of the deal was to silence a lot of the voices who upset the president over the last couple of years.
Oh, somebody's feelings got hurt. Oops.
Yeah, and he kind of said this deal won't happen unless these things happen.
Tit for tat action. Got it.
Yeah, but that's politics for you.
And apparently that's Hollywood too. So
yeah, that's true.
Tweets. Now, this video's inspiration comes from an article written by Christian Toto of Hollywood and Toto, where he suggests that Hollywood must speak out against England's free speech assault. Graham Linehan's shocking arrest must rouse celebrities from partisan slumber. I couldn't agree more. As Christian points out, British comic Graham Linehan's arrest this week over allegedly anti-manual transmission social media posts proved so shocking even Hollywood press outlets covered it. Well, we'll get into that. They didn't wait a day or two until the story calmed down either. Both Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter shared the news mere hours after it exploded on social media. And this is far from an isolated incident. Now, granted,
Konstantin Kissin on Trigonometry was talking about this. There were either 2 or 3 years ago, 400 Russian citizens who were arrested for posts. But in that same year, 3,000 to 4,000 citizens in the UK were arrested for posts, right?
Yeah, and it's not just Dahmer seems to be arresting anyone who upsets anybody. There, about a couple of weeks ago, he arrested a bunch of Palestinian protesters, and then equally turned around and arrested a bunch of Israeli protesters. So it seems to be he seems to be covering all the bases.
Well, he's pissing everybody off. But not in the right way, you know? It doesn't seem like he's a good steward of his people, and that is...
And it's not, the Metropolitan Police have a lot to answer for as well. They surely have better things to be doing with their time besides reading people's tweets and everything else.
What, and letting people out of prison so they could put the free speech violators in? Yeah, that doesn't seem like a fair trade. I'd rather have people, you know, incarcerated who were, you know, violating social mores and stabbing and killing people than people who said, I have angry tweet, here is my mean opinion. Really?
Like we have all these ridiculous videos coming out of the UK, and you can even see the police when they're calling to the door. Their heart is not in. They really do not want to be doing this. They really just, you can see it by them. They really do not want to be doing this rubbish.
Well, they're at the tip of the spear. They're the one out there doing the work, and it's people who don't deal with reality the way that it is. It's like in the United States, the people who are anti-Second Amendment the most are the ones that have the best security guards with whatever kind of firearms they can carry. You know, it is just the height of hypocrisy. It just makes me sick.
Yeah, and what Nerdrotic said there, what he said in previous videos, is it's very hypocritical for a lot of wealthy people in Hollywood to talk down to everybody else.
Right. That is a fact. You're not royalty and you're not special. You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. Just because more people have seen you doesn't mean the thing you're saying is any more of value. Right. And that's not even a marketplace of ideas. It's just whining. Right. It's killing me.
I think the marketplace of ideas scenario has definitely died a death over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's horrible. We can't even as adult people talk about concepts that are difficult to work through. That way you can there's no compromise, there's no accord, there's nothing. There's just mean, angry tweets and a bunch of hurt feelings, and nobody says, hey, I think maybe we could do it this way, and what do you think? And let's work together on you know, making good optimized policy for the constituents who have voted us in to do a thing. We're just not going to do that thing. That makes no sense. So
this was before we got more information, but I want you to notice how Deadline framed this. And remember, you can't hate the corporate legacy access media enough. Graham Linehan has said he was arrested at Heathrow Airport yesterday over posts he made on X. London's Metropolitan Police did not confirm the Father Ted's creator's name, but said that a man was arrested yesterday at Heathrow Airport after he arrived on an inbound American Airlines flight, which would chime with the timing of Linehan's claim. And in Graham's Substack article titled, I Just Got Arrested Again, which of course Deadline didn't link to, he said, the moment I stepped off the plane at Heathrow, 5 armed police officers were waiting. Not 1, not 2, 5. They escorted me to a private area and told me I was under arrest for 3 tweets. Deadline also.
That sounds asinine. On its face, like prima facie, that just sounds stupid.
Yes.
Right? If someone has an issue with it, don't subscribe to the guy. If you don't like what somebody says, don't. Right?
Yeah, you can actually block their feed.
You can block it. If your feelers get hurt and they're so tender that you can't deal with mature subjects, then block them. Don't listen to them. You don't have to interact with it. You don't have to. You're not obligated to do so. And it's the
Deadline's reporting there has a lot to answer for as well. I'm trying to use a not a curse this time, but the most silly headline I've ever seen written. The way they framed it was he alleged that he was arrested. You know, he said he was. You know, they're trying to throw doubt on his story before he even says it.
It's a framing issue. right?
Yeah.
He was definitely arrested. That wasn't under contention at all, right?
Yeah.
And Doubting Thomas has taught me vehemently how to hate legacy media. I'm pretty good at it now. I got a pretty good solid handle on it. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, brother.
Anytime.
Said during his arrest and questioning, Linehan said he fell ill and was taken to the hospital after a nurse checked his blood pressure and found it to be more than 200.
Linehan wrote online that he was taken to hospital, where this picture was taken, and that he told police his tweet was a serious point, made with a joke and not a call to violence.
Again, Deadline reported that Graham said he fell ill, and then a nurse came by and confirmed it. At 200 blood pressure is stroke level. And here's the worst bit. According to Deadline,
Yeah, that's a fact. If your systolic is up that high, if your diastolic is up that high, you're more than likely just about dead. But your systolic can go up that high, but not for a long time, not without some serious damage. Not a doctor.
Yeah.
Remind you,
I know,
not a doctor.
but it's the way they framed it there again. Deadline. It's like he said he was feeling ill.
Deadline. It's Deadline,
Yeah.
not Dateline.
Oh,
It's Dateline. It's Dateline. You're right.
Well, let's be honest. His choices for dating there too are also poor.
that's true. That's true.
Did not
Some
do
of those
great.
officers, they're getting lonely.
Oh, God.
Easy, Thomas. Easy, killer.
You can already smell the cats from here.
Yeah, I get the mittens and Thomas gets the muzzle. I get it. I know how this works. Right. Let's let him get back to work.
arrest was made by officers from the MPS Aviation Unit. It is routine for officers policing airports to carry firearms, which is true. These were not drawn or used at any point during the arrest. They weren't actually pointing the guns at you. And hey, we Americans are used to people packing, but Brits aren't. Again, you can't hate the corporate access legacy media enough, and make sure you try a little harder tomorrow. Well, it turns out the arrest was recorded, and a couple of days later, it came out.
It's alleged that on the 19th of April 2025, you published a post on X that was deemed to be intended to stir up hatred, slight violence, or sexual orientation. What was the post? I'll tell you. You sure? Comedy writer, you're under arrest. I'm under arrest. You know what this country looks like.
Now, what were the three?
Thomas?
Yeah.
What does that look like to America?
You do not want me to respond to this.
Put the muzzle back on him. Get the muzzle back on him quick there, Patrick. He's about to do the thing.
Yeah, I'm zipping my own mouth on this one. I'm gonna get you banned.
Wait,
I told you start streaming on Rumble from now on. None of this YouTube nonsense.
You told me that silence is golden, but duct tape is silver. You told me that today.
That is true. But I just zipper it up. I'm good.
Zipper it up.
That's how you keep babies from being made. I don't think that's how you keep yourself from talking.
I don't know. You heard him straight. You know what? No, can't finish that statement either. Yep, YouTube. Right.
Well, yesterday in recording, might have been the day before, Patrick said, "You better put a Johnny on it." I was like, "Oh my God, this dude."
Oh, he doesn't know what that means.
No, I know what it means. I know what it means. Yeah.
No, yeah. Okay. All right.
He knows what it means now.
No, I got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I had to look it up.
Okay.
I had to look it up. I'm an uneducated American, so
don't worry, Thomas. I gave him the whole birds and bees rundown.
Ooh, thank God. I was curious about it before. I had to ask my 3 children how that works. They had to tell me,
It does look bad. No, as he says, not just to America, it looks bad all over the world.
Right.
A person being arrested over a couple of tweets they did in another country last year.
It's the law there now. They wanted that.
Yeah,
they wanted that.
The problem is he's not a British citizen.
Matter if he's a British citizen. It's the law there now.
Yeah.
Oh, but the UK said they were going to come here and get us Americans and bring us over there to face charges. I would say
I already posted that in the link.
He's on the ball there.
I would certainly like the Bobbies to come to my place and talk to me about it. They would have a bad day.
I could imagine even a judge, if they put that in front of a judge, I want an extradition order for such and such a person over angry words online. I think most judges in the UK would just take one look at that and say, let's get out. Most of the judges over there are just sick of these stupid laws because they have enough important cases going on.
Right, but the problem is there's some
rubbish.
of them. There's some of them that are throwing the book at these people, and these are the ones that are getting
They
incarcerated.
love it. Right.
And they're saying things like, I would put you in for longer if I could. You're a public menace and unsafe. And I'm like, oh, wow. How close to V for Vendetta time are we? Like, it's getting bad.
Did you read any of the links I sent you? One of the discretionary measures there is by making these statements, you are calling for violence such as genocide. That is their description on the government website.
Right, but that term has a very legal meaning. We had Natasha Hausdorff review discussing what those words mean specifically in international law and then specifically in UK law, and that word does not fit in the space. Like that's not what it's doing, right?
It's intentional. In my opinion.
It has to be because the wording isn't accidental. It's like the wording of the Constitution isn't accidental. Those words and terms have meaning. And because they're put in there, they're used as leverage to get something else to happen, right? And it's turning out to be a wholly unacceptable outcome. It is not optimized for the constituency of the UK at all. Just like a lot of the laws that are in Ireland.
Bad laws like this are always going to lead to bad outcomes for everyone involved. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, all right, here we go.
Tweets that got him in trouble. Well, I'm risking getting in trouble even talking about him, which is part of the problem that we'll get to. But forgive me for using stupid YouTube speak on this one. But if a manual transmission is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Make a scene, call the cops, and if all else fails, punch him in the cojones. That was from April 20th of this year. From April 19th, you got a photo you can smell, something I've posted on Twitter multiple times. And a follow-up to that is calling that smelly group of people a bunch of misogynists and homophobes, something I'm getting called in the comments section right now. And now Graham Linehan is literally criminally offensive, which is something every comedian strives for until they get arrested. Now,
it's a win, but this isn't the 60s. You know what I'm saying? This is beyond the pale. It's unacceptable behavior. To arrest citizens of other countries because your laws suck, and they do, don't pretend, don't hide, those laws are horrible.
I hope the next government that comes in takes a big, long look at these laws and realize it's not sustainable to these type of laws. They have enough going on at the moment. Besides lumping all this onto the court system as well.
Yeah, it's not going to help them at all. And Thomas and I were talking about sovereignty issues, and you and I were also talking about it. And I don't see them getting away through this unless they get a government that actually listens to the people, unless they pay attention to the constituency. It's because otherwise it's just going to, like a greasy slip and slide, just keep going down, down, down. It is not the best.
Yeah, but the sad thing is, most times when they run into these type of troubles in the UK, they usually vote in the Tories, which over the last couple of decades haven't been exactly the great stewards of Britain.
Let's get back to Nerdrotic.
The big names called it out in the UK, including the very popular amongst a certain community, J.K. Rowling. What the f*** has the UK become? This is totalitarianism, utterly deplorable. And while he doesn't mention Graham directly, Ricky Gervais posted this: if you don't believe in free speech for people who you disagree with and even hate what they stand for, then you don't believe in free speech. And that man should host every award show because people would actually watch. John Cleese, who famously won't be putting a MAGA hat on anytime soon, responded as well. I see it took 5 London police officers to arrest a comedian. Meanwhile, people in Chelsea have learned not to waste their time reporting burglaries. Is this an intelligent use of our resources? And
well, that's what you were saying before. It is an absolutely deplorable use of resources.
Yeah.
There are people out there committing violent acts, violent crimes of all kinds of natures, and they're just not being pursued. But if you make angry words, you get angry cops, lots of them.
And you can see that it's a ridiculous waste of resources. Every time they seem to turn up, you can see by some of the videos, the Nerdrotic show there. Between 4 to 8 police officers calling to your door.
That's insane.
That's a complete waste of resources. Complete waste. Over silliness online.
Yeah.
Christian Toto points out, celebrities can embrace any political view they wish. I agree. And they can have the right to share said opinions far and wide. We need artists to stand up for free speech, to call out injustice like this and shed light on the problem before it gets worse. Well, as you know, things can always get worse. And
it is worse.
Far be it from me to point out to the likes of John Cleese, J.K. Rowling, or even Ricky Gervais that this oppression, this authoritarianism is coming from the side you voted for. I've got a recent example for you. Graham Linehan. Do you know what the single condition of his bail was? According to Graham, I am not to go on Twitter. That's it. No threats, no speeches about the seriousness of my crimes. Just a legal gag order designed to shut me up while I'm in the UK and demand I face a further interview in October. Well, that's where you got him, Graham, because Twitter doesn't exist anymore. Now, Graham has certainly been salty in the past on Twitter. That probably would have gotten him banned back in the Jack Dorsey days, but not in the Elon days. And I would go so far as to say he wouldn't get banned on YouTube, maybe age restricted or demonetized, but not banned. Unfortunately, though, he will get arrested in his home country. So I hate to break this.
Not his home country.
Yeah, I think he's about to make that point.
To the UK, while everyone is waiting for things to get worse, they have gotten worse. Because this should deeply disturb everyone, and it doesn't. But outside of those few British examples over here in the United States, it's been absolute crickets from Hollywood, from the people who actually produce and write comedy and all other sorts of pretend. We haven't heard a peep out of the likes of Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, or Jimmy Fallon, or Howard Stern, who isn't back yet, but even if he did come back and said something, would anybody know it? Where's Chris Evans? Where's Mark Ruffalo? Where's Don Cheadle? These guys will bitch about anything. Hell, get the rest of the Avengers. Has anybody heard from Mark Hamill? Where's George Takei? How about Stephen King? I only bring this up because Hollywood in total had all of a sudden rediscovered the importance of free speech, erroneously applying it to the firing of Stephen Colbert, who was just bad at his job. And there might be some Brits out there going, what is this Yankee twat talking about our politics for? Well, to that I'd say, really? Really? Although, could we have Craig Ferguson back? Now, I am happy.
That dude is hilarious.
Yeah,
Craig Ferguson's awesome.
Yeah, very, very good.
You know, I think he's right. All these high-profile voices should be saying something. And I know I say, hey, they're, you know, just a person like I'm a person, but they have a hell of a platform. And if they were to say, look, free speech is the right way to go, right? The marketplace of ideas is the thing that we should have. If they were to say that, maybe some folks would start paying attention. Maybe.
Yeah. But I think what happened with these silly laws is they've gone so out of kilter with what's normally acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one wants their police calling to their door over something silly online. They want the police to be there when there's a crime, a proper crime. Like, as your man said there in one tweet about burglaries. You ring, there's no one there to arrest the burglars, but there's plenty of people to arrest you over some angry words online.
Oh, if you break into my house, I'm calling 811. Right? Like, no, like I'm not calling the police. That's not happening. Don't come in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be calling somebody else. It won't be the police. I guarantee you.
And plus, the way everyone in Hollywood is responding is very, very telling. Like, they're so upset over Stephen Colbert getting fired. There's no one speaking out about this gentleman getting arrested by 5 armed police officers.
Yeah, there's some kind of serious disconnect there, and it is not acceptable. It's not acceptable behavior.
No, there's a massive disconnect because, as Nerdrotic said there, they'll whinge and bitch and go on about every other cause out there, except the ones that actually truly matter.
Well, and free speech helps them be better artists in general, right? Because less restrictions on them means that they can more explore their art of acting.
Exactly.
Right.
They mightn't agree with everything the man says, but he's still part of their community.
Oh, and a pretty big part too, at least on the European side for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
Ted's an amazing show. You turned me on to that 6-8 months ago. That's so hilarious. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, I think everyone from a certain generation grew up with that, and The Office and IT and some great shows out there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But a lot of these guys are definitely a lot of these guys. Sorry, just reading a message here from our producer. Yeah, what our producer sent a message there. But they are bought and paid for shills. A lot of these Hollywood actors.
Well, I just feel like they're banging the drum for the wrong team, right? Just like we were talking Prince Charles, banging the drum for the wrong team, right? You
But
need
I
to
think
get
a
your
lot of them-
bagpipes out and play for the right team, kid. Right? You're doing a wrong thing for the people of your country.
Yeah. But as I said, the UK is always kind of been struggling along for so long.
Right.
I think everything's just coming to a head over there at the moment. In economics, migration,
yeah,
everything.
It's going sideways.
It's just, as I say, it's a cauldron. It's a bomb waiting to go off of some sort.
The UK,
There's definitely something going to happen.
The UK, like Ireland and the United States, we're being abused for our good nature. We really are. Right?
Yeah.
With open arms, we've accepted lots of people, and all they can do is whine, bitch, and say functionally death to America in whatever fashion they can.
Yeah.
Right. Death to Ireland, death to the UK, death to the USA. Like it's not a good thing. We are attempting to integrate people who just don't want to integrate. And part of this whole process.
It's nearly impossible to integrate people from a third world into a first
for
world.
Sure. It takes a long time to get them culturally ready for it, you know? And then they just abuse the system and take all the free stuff.
Third or fourth, maybe even fifth generation before they'll integrate in some normal manner.
Right. And then we have parallel legal systems that are going on all over the place, and it's going crazy.
Yeah.
But the linchpin of all of this is if you restrict people's speech, they can't talk about the things, and then they are forced to accept them under threat of arrest. Right?
Yes.
And then that causes self-censorship, which is even worse.
As he showed there at the start of this, V for Vendetta, which is a great movie, by the way.
Amazing.
But it shows what happens if you go down this road of totalitarianism, where you get so strict about your laws.
I'm going to say it. Totalitarianism. I got you.
There we go.
I got you,
I got to get tongue-tied there for a second. But once you go down that road, you know exactly where everyone in history. All you have to do is pick up a history book and see where this road leads.
Oh, it's all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
There's 120 million plus reasons that you shouldn't be doing this at all. All right, here we go.
Happy to report, as of today, Graham Linehan is allowed back on X Twitter and posting like a madman. He's already made his first court appearance, and it doesn't appear that he's backing down. And although they don't know it yet, he's actually standing up for the people who currently hate him. Forgive me for stating the obvious, but setting a precedence like, for example, criminalizing speech is a canon that will eventually be aimed at everyone. Do you think they're just going to stop with some protected groups? Ask yourself this: how far does this go? When does it end? The answer is it doesn't. Again, to state the obvious, there is no community, group, identity, organization, or individual that is above criticism. You
remember the expression, I was quiet when they came for everybody else, and when they came for me, there was no one to speak for me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And it starts with self-censorship. It really does.
You see with a lot of people now, everyone keeps their head down and just hoping and just trying not to get involved.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you see it more and more. Even I was watching a video, and we'll definitely cover the story about a young lady over in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Who was attacked on a train.
Mm-hmm. We'll go over
the
that.
Light rail.
The light rail. Yeah, I want to give it a few days before we do that, though. I want to get better information.
There was in the video, there's over a dozen people on that. And now one person, before or after the attack, stepped in. Not one.
I'm pretty sure I would have done something. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like if Doubting Thomas were there, he would have done something. If you were there, you would have something would be done.
Yeah. But it's just the nature of people at the moment. Everyone wants to stay in their own little safety bubble and not get involved.
Right. If I don't look at it, it's not happening. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or as you said, everyone stays quiet until they come for you.
And then there's no one to speak for you. No one to stand up. So, all right, here we go.
Create a protected classes to make them unaccountable. And yes, I know there are plenty of them out there. If you're out there thinking they're trying to suppress our free speech to demoralize us into capitulation, you'd be right. Some may say the UK has devolved into the world of V for Vendetta, although you would have to replace the authoritarian leader from the right with an authoritarian leader from the left. I would say a far more accurate description would be the UK has devolved into the world of Demolition Man. Case in point, in the words of Graham Linehan, in a country where child enthusiasts escape sentencing, where knife crime is out of control, where women are assaulted and harassed every time they gather to speak, The state has mobilized 5 armed officers to arrest a comedy writer for a tweet. Although we have these wonderful things in America like the First and Second Amendment and states' rights, if it wasn't for that election of Trump last year, love him or hate him, and that cultural shift, we'd be right there with you, UK. And listen, both of our countries have very similar problems, including but not limited to young women aren't safe on trains over here, but across the pond, young girls aren't safe walking around without having garden tools to protect themselves. Hell, it's become a problem to raise a nation's flag in its own country, but it's perfectly okay to raise another.
Yeah, so that specifically indicates occupation. When you can't raise your own flag and represent your nation, that is an occupied state. That is exactly what that means. And the previous clip he was showing there was that Scottish girl that was trying to protect her sister, and the one before that was the predecessor to that like massive stabbing that happened on the I believe it was a light rail in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's North Carolina. Yeah.
So,
but,
all right.
But you're right. If you're not allowed to raise your own flag, it's in your own country.
Yeah.
The government has to really look at themselves in the mirror and ask.
Right. The Union Jack and St. George in the UK, the tricolor in
tricolor
Ireland.
In their own color.
Yeah. And then
we had a ridiculous thing up in Dublin there recently where your man put up the Irish flag. He put it up because there was a match coming up or something like that. There was a sports event coming up. Just remembering the story. He just put it up a couple of days in advance.
Right.
Obviously, just stuck it up like we always do. If there's a big Irish match on, we always stick up the tricolor, whatever.
Yeah, before your big soccer matches or hurling
his
or
neighbours
whatever.
got upset over the tricolor because obviously they won.
No.
The Dublin County Council came out and asked him. Well, they came up politely and asked him any chance you could take it down. And he, being the normal Dublin guy he was, told him to go, get lost. Just close down him.
I don't think that's what he said. I think he said something slightly more aggressive, Patrick.
Yes. I'm just reading through the lines here, trying to get it all cleaned up for YouTube, as they say. I can imagine what he said. It wasn't a polite, please go away.
There might have been an epithet or some foul language in there, sir.
Oh, I know that particular part. I know roughly that part of Dublin. Trust me, it was, yeah.
What's that beautiful area in Dublin you keep telling me about? Is it Ballymun?
Oh, Ballymun, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, Thomas, go ahead and look up Ballymun. You'll be super interested. It's a pretty nice neighborhood there in Dublin. It looks like a bombed out portion of Detroit, except older.
Actually, no, it's got some nice gardens somewhere.
Yeah, outside its area. You can look at the garden from Ballymun. You just can't have the
I can imagine all the comments on YouTube now going on about how beautiful Ballymun's going to be.
Yeah, well, if you can send me a pretty.
By the way, if you're from Ballymun, you know what your place is like.
Crazy. All right, here we go.
Other nation's flag or a flag signifying what you cosplay as or where you put your junk. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And as you know, none of these problems will ever be solved unless we can talk about them or speak to each other about them freely. And if we can't, I'll say this as eloquently as possible. We're fucked.
Nerdrotic.com.
There you go. No, he put it very well there at the end.
He did with some foul language, an epithet, and a swear word. Seemed to work out pretty good.
He used the beep.
Yeah, he beeped it out.
Yes.
So I got the mittens, Thomas has the muzzle, and Patrick's got the information, I suppose. So,
yes, there we go.
All right, I want to thank our producer today, Doubting Thomas. Great job. Thank you so much. For Patrick McCallum, I am Alex Johansson. Ring the bell, flip the switch, help us beat the algorithm, please.
There we go.
Be good. We are out.